The private dining room at Cirque buzzed with the familiar sound of my brother's success stories. Another bonus, another promotion, another reason for our parents to beam with pride at their golden child. James Walker, youngest VP at Continental Bank, their crown jewel in designer suits. I sat quietly at the corner of the table, picking at my salad while James held court. "The merger's practically done," he announced, swirling his $1,000 wine. "Once we acquire that tech startup, Continental's digital banking division will be unstoppable." Our father nodded approvingly. "Always thinking ahead, son. That's why you're where you are." I suppressed a smile thinking about the email I'd received that morning. The one marked strictly confidential from my actual office. Not the small fintech consulting firm my family thought I ran. "What about you, Sophia?" Mom asked, her tone carrying that familiar mix of concern and disappointment. "Any progress with your, what do you call it? Digital payment solutions," I supplied. "And yes, we're growing." James snorted into his wine. "Growing? Last I checked, you were working out of a WeWork space. Not exactly Wall Street." That WeWork space was actually a mail drop. My real office occupied the top 3 floors of a building in the financial district, but they didn't need to know that. Not yet. Not everyone measures success by their office address, James. He laughed, that sharp dismissive sound I'd grown up hearing. "Keep dreaming, sis. But while you're playing with your little startup, some of us are making real moves in the industry." If he only knew about the moves I was making. About the meetings I'd been having with his bank's board of directors. About the papers sitting in my hotel safe that would redefine both our futures. "Speaking of moves," our father interjected, "James tells me Continental might have some entry-level positions in their tech department. If you're interested, Sophia." "I'm good, Dad." I took a sip of water. "But thanks. You can't keep chasing these startup fantasies forever," James said. "At some point you need to join the real world." The real world. As if he had any idea what I'd built while he was climbing Continental's corporate ladder. As if he knew that his precious bank's digital transformation depended entirely on my approval. Because tomorrow morning when the markets opened, everyone would learn that Shadow Financial, the fintech giant that had been silently acquiring regional banks for the past 3 years, was actually my company. And our latest acquisition? Continental Bank. James had been so busy bragging about his merger that he hadn't even noticed who was buying his bank. "I saw your company's website," he continued, scrolling through his phone. "Cute logo, but let's be honest, you're barely more than a payment processing app." Mom touched my arm. "There's no shame in admitting you need help, dear. James could put in a good word." "I appreciate the offer," I said carefully, "but I'm exactly where I need to be." "Where you need to be?" James scoffed. "You're 32 working in some shared office space, probably making what? 6 figures if you're lucky? While I'm about to close the biggest deal in Continental's history." I checked my watch, 15 hours until the announcement. 15 hours until my brother learned that his biggest deal was actually his company being acquired by his little sister. "More wine." The waiter appeared at James's elbow. "Of course. Put it all on my card. Got to celebrate success while little sis here figures out her life." I watched him hand over his Continental Bank executive card with flourish. The same bank that, as of 9:30 tomorrow morning, would be a subsidiary of my company. The waiter returned moments later, his expression carefully neutral. "I apologize, sir, but your card appears to be declined." "That's impossible," James snapped. "Run it again." "System shows a hold due to institutional changes," the waiter explained. "Perhaps another card?" James's face reddened. "Institutional changes? I'm a VP at Continental. There are no changes I don't know about." I caught the waiter's eye and handed him my card. Matte black, unmarked except for a small shadow logo. His eyes widened slightly in recognition. "Of course, Ms. Walker," he whispered, low enough that only I could hear. "I should have realized. Your bank just acquired his." The irony wasn't lost on me. In less than a day, every card in James's wallet would technically be issued by my company. "Don't worry about it, James," I said softly. "Dinner's on me." The next morning I sat in my real office. A corner suite on the 52nd floor with views stretching from Manhattan to Brooklyn. The wall of screens before me displayed various financial news channels, all counting down to the market opening. My phone had been buzzing since dawn. First, a text from James. Something weird happening at Continental. Emergency board meeting called. Might be about the merger. Then from Dad, your brother's going to make headlines today. That's what happens when you work hard the right way. I smiled, adjusting my Armani blazer as my executive team filed into the office. Unlike the simple clothes I wore to family dinners, today's outfit was pure power. No more hiding. Everything's in place, my CEO Diana reported. Press embargo lifts in 20 minutes. CNBC is standing by for your interview. And Continental's board? Signed the final papers an hour ago. Their executives haven't been notified yet. I nodded, thinking of James probably sitting in his office, completely unaware that his morning meeting would change everything. Ms. Walker, my assistant called through the intercom. Your brother's trying to reach you. Says it's urgent. Not now, I replied. We have more important things to handle. At exactly 9:15 a.m., the first alert flashed across Bloomberg. Breaking. Shadow Financial to acquire Continental Bank in $8.2 billion deal. My phone exploded immediately. James, holy shit. Shadow bought us? Meeting starting now. Dad, are you seeing this? Your brother's bank is being acquired. Mom, call us. James isn't answering. I turned my attention to the largest screen, where CNBC's morning anchor was speaking. In a stunning move, Shadow Financial has announced its acquisition of Continental Bank, marking its largest purchase to date. But the bigger story might be Shadow's CEO, who's finally stepping into the public eye. The doors burst open. Diana rushed in. They're ready for your live interview. I stood, straightening my jacket as the camera crew made final adjustments. The red light blinked on. Joining us now exclusively is Sophia Walker, CEO of Shadow Financial and, as we've just learned, one of the youngest billionaires in finance. Ms. Walker, quite an entrance you've made. I smiled directly into the camera, knowing exactly who would be watching. Sometimes the biggest moves happen in complete silence, I replied. Shadow Financial has spent 3 years revolutionizing digital banking. Continental is just our latest step. Sources say Continental's executives were unaware of who was really buying their bank. Was that intentional? We believe in letting our technology and results speak first. Names and titles tend to create preconceptions. My phone kept vibrating. James was calling repeatedly now. I could imagine the scene in Continental's boardroom, his world turning upside down in real time. The interview continued but was interrupted by my assistant. Ms. Walker, Continental's VP of Digital Banking, is in the lobby. Says he's your brother. I muted my phone as another call came in. Let him up. Have security ready. Minutes later, James burst into my office, still wearing yesterday's suit, face flushed with a mixture of shock and anger. What the hell is going on? He demanded, then stopped short, taking in the surroundings. The executive office. The news crews. The Shadow Financial logo everywhere. Hello, James, I said calmly. I believe you're late for your board meeting. This is how. Remember my cute payment processing app? I gestured to the screens showing Shadow's stock price soaring. It evolved. He sank into a chair, staring at the financial headlines still rolling across the screens. All this time, he whispered, when I was telling you to get a real job. I had one. Several, actually. Shadow Financial owns 12 banks now. Continental makes 13. Does Dad know? He will in about 10 minutes. I'm having a car pick them up for the press conference. James ran his hands through his hair, his carefully maintained composure cracking. What happens to me? He asked finally. I picked up a folder from my desk. That depends. The VP of Digital Banking position at Continental will be restructured. But we do have an opening in our innovation department. Lower title, of course. No executive privileges. But a chance to learn banking from the ground up. The right way. Lower title, he sputtered. You can't demote me. I'm your brother. Exactly, I replied coolly. And if I'd let that influence my decision, I wouldn't be where I am. This isn't personal, James. It's business. Real business. The intercom buzzed again. Your parents have arrived, Ms. Walker. The look on my parents' faces as they entered my office was worth every holiday dinner I'd spent being lectured about real careers. Dad stopped mid-stride, his eyes traveling from the executive suite to the wall of screens still announcing my acquisition of his precious son's bank. Sophia. Mom's voice was barely a whisper. What is all this? This, I gestured around me, is what playing with my little startup actually looks like. Diana appeared at the door. Ms. Walker, the press conference starts in 20 minutes. Board members are gathering in the main hall. Thank you, Diana. I turned back to my family. We should talk quickly. I have a company to run. Well, several companies now. Dad found his voice first. You're the one who bought Continental? Shadow Financial bought Continental, I corrected. I just happen to own Shadow Financial, along with 12 other banks and the digital payment platform you all thought was a hobby. James, still slumped in his chair, let out a bitter laugh. All those times I offered to help you get a real job. I remember, I said, pulling up Continental's performance reports on my tablet. Like last Christmas, when you said I was wasting my potential on a startup. I was finalizing the acquisition of First Western that week. Or last month's dinner, when you suggested I apply for an entry-level position. I was in negotiations to buy your bank. But your apartment, your clothes, that shared office space. Mom stammered. Were exactly what you expected to see, I replied. The WeWork address receives my mail. I live in the penthouse at the Harrison. The startup office you visited was a front. This, I gestured to the luxurious space around us, is where I actually work. Why didn't you tell us? Dad demanded. Would you have believed me? I asked quietly. Or would you have done what you always did? Dismiss it, minimize it, explain why James's path was better? The silence that followed was deafening. Speaking of paths, I continued, turning to James, have you made a decision about the innovation department position? You're really going to demote your own brother? Dad interjected. No, I said firmly. I'm offering a position to a banker whose digital division has underperformed for 6 consecutive quarters. The fact that he's my brother is irrelevant. Irrelevant. Mom gasped. We're family. Family, I echoed, standing to walk to the windows. Like when James told everyone at Thanksgiving that my company was cute? Or when Dad suggested I needed real-world experience at Easter. That kind of family. The intercom buzzed again. 5 minutes to press conference, Ms. Walker. I turned back to them. I have to go announce this acquisition to the world. You're welcome to attend. There are reserved seats in the front row. But understand this, from now on things will be different. Different how? James asked, finally looking up. No more condescension. No more helpful suggestions about my career. No more assumptions about my potential. I straightened my jacket. From today forward, you'll see exactly who I am and what I've built. Whether you can handle that reality is up to you. And if we can't? Dad challenged. Then you'll miss out on quite a lot, I replied simply. Shadow Financial is just the beginning. Next month we launch our international division. The month after that our blockchain platform goes live. Your choice if you want to watch it happen from the outside. Diana appeared again. They're ready for you. I walked to the door, then paused. Oh, and James? About your Continental executive credit cards. They'll be deactivated at midnight. Your new company card will have a significantly lower limit. Standard policy for non-executive positions. The press conference was a blur of cameras and questions. I announced the acquisition, outlined Shadow's vision for digital banking, and watched our stock price climb higher with each word. From the front row, my family sat in stunned silence as I detailed the empire I'd built while they were busy doubting me. That evening, as I sat in my penthouse reviewing the day's coverage, my phone lit up with a text from James. I'll take the innovation department job. And, I'm sorry. For everything. Then from Dad, we were wrong. So wrong. Can we have dinner this week? Anywhere you choose. I smiled, thinking of all the family dinners where they'd lectured me about success. Now they wanted to dine with the real me, the CEO, the acquirer, the billionaire they'd never seen coming. My response was simple. Sunday. My place. I'll send a car. And James, bring your new company card. Dinner's on you this time. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't proving people wrong. It's proving yourself right. And letting them pay for the privilege of watching.